So I wanted to make a video about putting a pedal board together, you know, like one with mini pedals. I thought that would be kind of fun and interesting. I started to put it together and realized it was not as simple as I thought it was. So yeah, I got a little bit frustrated and I decided to just completely start over, redo this video, really take a close look at what I'm doing and really rethink my approach, because like you can see here, I just sort of rage quit on this pedal board because it wasn't working out at all. So if at first you fail, take a step back, lick your wounds, and then get back out there and do it again, huh? So with that being said, today we're gonna put together a pedal board, but first what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut over to me introducing this mess that's on the floor so you know what I'm using, and you can kind of get an idea of the different pedals and the board and all that. So let's do that now. So what's this pedal board thing we're doing today? Well, Donner sent me out a pedal board and some inexpensive pedals, and I'm also gonna take some other pedals and maybe even a modeler, throw it all together and see if we can make a usable fly rig. Here is the Donner pedal board kit. By the way, I will put all the links for all of the things that I am using in this video in case you wanna build your own pedal board in the description below. Okay, so here's what Donner sent, and it's pretty cool. It's got this like padded carrying case, which, you know, it's decent quality. Now, one of the great things about this Donner pedal board is it comes with a bunch of Velcro, which comes in handy when you're making a pedal board. Also, they include several patch cables to help you get going on building your board, but I'm not gonna be using these ones. Instead, I'm gonna be using these flat patch cables from rockstock.com. They are minimum clearance, and rockstock.com is going to be doing a giveaway. So if you would like to enter the giveaway, I will put a link for that in the description below, but these are pretty cool cables. You can see how different the profile of the cables are, so these really help save some space on your pedal board, and plus the cable itself is actually flat instead of round, so it's just really nice when you have your pedals pushed together because they don't take up a lot of space. So there's all of the cables. It's a pretty big pocket on the front. You can put a lot of cables in there. And even the bag itself is extra large, you know? Let's see what pedals they included here. We have a Donner triple looper pedal. That's cool, that'll come in handy. Mini morpher pedal. I think this is a distortion pedal. True bypass, by the way. And they also sent me a wave delay pedal. So these are some cool mini pedals that are inexpensive that we can add to the board. Okay, now let's take a look at the actual board itself here. And so this is actually metal. You can hear that, but it's very, very lightweight. And it's a really good size too. All right, so round two. So you can see the sad attempt here to be conservative and just put the minimal amount of Velcro on this pedal board to get these pedals on. I just decided that it wasn't really worth trying to save the Velcro and that I should just like Velcro the whole thing and make it easy on myself. See, you try and save yourself some supplies and you end up wasting more than you would have used otherwise. Lesson there. Don't try to save supplies, just do it right. And you see, that's probably the way this was intended to be used. I mean, this tape is almost perfectly the size that you need for this. Let's see how well I can do this. Okay, not bad. It's pretty straight. All right, let's see if I can do that times 2. Hey. All right, and I'm not gonna do this top one up here. I mean, we might need it later, but just for now, I'm gonna do these 2 rows, and I think that should be plenty for what I'm trying to achieve. So another thing that I decided to change is I decided to base this board around the Line 6 hxstomp. It's a really small multi-effects unit, and I think it sort of fits the concept of this board that I'm trying to achieve, which is building a board with small pedals. And the other thing about using the hxstomp is it's an awesomely powerful unit. You can use up this DSP very, very quickly. So it's nice to be able to expand it with some additional pedals. And I do get questions about, you know, how to hook up the pedals and stuff like that. So we'll cover some of that in this video. The first thing we're gonna need though is we're gonna need power. The first thing that I'm gonna do here that's a lot different is I'm gonna take my power supply and I'm actually gonna put this on the bottom down here. I have this inexpensive power supply that I bought off Amazon, and the reason that I like this is you have several 9-volt ports here, but you also have a high current 9-volt output, a 12-volt output, and an 18-volt output, you know, for additional pedals and stuff like that, that might not take 9 volts. The other neat thing about this power supply is it's got some additional AC outlets on top there. Now, I think the proper way to do this would probably be to band this with like some metal and then use some metal screws to drill into the frame of this, and that way you could assure yourself it is not going anywhere. But I don't really foresee myself using this pedal board. I think most likely I'm gonna end up disassembling it after this video. So just to make this easy, I'm just gonna use some zip ties. And the thing that sucks about this is it's probably gonna be blocking at least one of my outlets when I do it. So, you know, not ideal, but like I said, we are just doing this for the sake of the video. So yeah, I'm gonna strap it down. You know what? I'm actually gonna loop this through here so I can feed the plug out that way. See, all these little things you wanna think about while you're doing this. And you know, I actually have a lot of gear that I use inside of my rack that I tie down with the zip ties. They're actually a super convenient way to strap down your gear, you know, as long as you're comfortable using them. But like I said, if this was gonna be a permanent thing, most likely I would bolt it down. Look at that. Now our power supply is sort of like hidden and out of the way. And these are all plugged into 9-volt power. You know what? I can actually feed these up through here to go to the individual pedals. I guarantee you now this pedal board is not going to have the nicest cable management in the world. That is not something I am really great at, so we're just gonna go with it. All right, so now the next thing we need to do is organize the pedals, thinking about how we want the signal chain to be laid out. So I think the hxstomp is going to go over here, and that way I can have some pre-pedals here, and then I can run some other pedals in the effects loop back here, and maybe even like a power amp up here. We'll get to that in just a second. We are gonna start with 3 mini pedals here. Another little quick tip here, when you are putting pedals on your board, if they have this rubber backing, probably take that off. I'm actually having to pull this, there's like this paper. We need a surface that our Velcro tape can stick to, and it doesn't really stick to rubber so well. So I'm just sort of like rolling this weird sort of tape stuff off. It's not taking much effort to get off there, so we're gonna go with that distortion pedal there. Maybe something like that. So I have the Donner looper up front, the Donner distortion pedal after that. These are my pre-effects. And then I have the Donner wave delay that they sent me. And this wave delay is gonna go in the effects loop of the hxstomp here. Now, in a perfect situation, this whole thing would be Velcroed and the bottom of these pedals would be Velcroed and they would have multiple points and they would be sticking a lot better. You can see they're like a little bit loose here, but I think we're still gonna be able to finish this video. Now, if you had multiple pedals that you wanted to run in the effects loop, maybe you switch these around so that your pedals are down here and you have access to them to turn them on and off. But since we're just gonna use the hxstomp to turn the effects loop on or off, we'll be able to just have this pedal on constantly and we'll control it with the hxstomp. I'm actually gonna add one more pedal in here just because it looks so badass. And that is this sacrificer pedal here. Okay, so the way we have this set up right now, you would go into the front of this TMD33 preamp pedal. That'll go into the looper here. That'll go into this distortion pedal that we can use as a boost if we want, or we can use the 33 as a boost. Kind of nice to have options. This is gonna go into the input of the hxstomp, which means I need another patch cable. Now this is a little weird. Okay, so we had to move a couple things around to accommodate the layout of the hxstomp. The input's actually up here, so I had to move this pedal up there so that the patch cable would reach. So the effects loop send and return is over here on the right side of the hxstomp, and I didn't really think that out. Maybe I should have gone left to right with it. But then I feel like my cord would be over here and I'd have to be stepping across, so I feel like it's better to have the input over here. So this is a little bit goofy that I had to move one of these pedals up here, and then the other one is gonna be down here for the effects loop, but we're gonna make it work. And then now, all we gotta do is get power to all these pedals. Now, all these cords are plugged into 9-volt power, so I don't need to worry about what cord goes to what pedal. I just need to get them power. Okay, everything has, oh, we need power for the hxstomp. Now, it's worth mentioning that this particular power supply does have a high voltage output, and that might work perfectly fine for the hxstomp, but you know what, I don't know for sure, and I really don't want anyone, you know, suing me if they blow up their hxstomps. Since I don't know that for sure, I am going to just keep this separate here. And probably another smart thing to do that I didn't think of is maybe like get a power strip and mount that in here. And then that way you only have one cord to plug in and out when you plug in your pedal board. But you know, you live and you learn, right? So now that we have all of our pedals on this board, the only thing left to do is to plug this guy in and see how it sounds. Let's do that. All right, so now I have this guy hooked up, and of course, if I wanted to use this board as a standalone solution, you could throw a small power amp on it, like a Seymour Duncan power stage or something like that. But I am just going direct out of the hxstomp, and this being my first time, I just want to make sure everything works. I didn't realize how much of an undertaking making a pedal board is. So the way that this is set up, my guitar is going into this 33-volt preamp pedal, that's going into the looper, that is going into the distortion, that's up here. Oh, let me turn that off. That's going into the hxstomp, and then we have this wave delay in the effects loop of the hxstomp there. I'm playing an Ibanez Prestige S series with a Seymour Duncan black winner in the bridge position. And this is the archetype lead amp in the hxstomp. That's what it sounds like. Let's start messing around with some pedals. Let's turn this guy on. That little Donner distortion pedal is a pretty good boost, and I'm really surprised at how well the hxstomp takes boost pedals going into it. There's no weird clipping or anything going on. It sounds exactly as it should. Let's switch over to a clean channel, and then we can mess around with a looper and the wave delay going through the effects loop. This is a patch that is using the Placator clean channel. Switch over to the neck pickup. I have a Seymour Duncan JB in the neck of this guitar. By the way, I knew you were gonna ask, so let's just clear that up now. Nothing super special going on there. Let's start messing around with pedals. right, it is evident that I totally suck at using a looper, but you know, it's pretty cool that you could do all of this stuff, and of course you could do a lot of this stuff with just the hxstomp, but what I'm trying to demonstrate here is what you can do if you need to expand your hxstomp, because the hxstomp doesn't have a lot of DSP included in it, and you can fill it up pretty quickly, especially if you are using some of the effects from the newer updates. Those tend to eat up the DSP pretty quickly. Okay, so let me explain how I have this set up here. In the signal chain on the hxstomp, I have a multi-head delay as well as a reverb. It's a particle reverb, and I have both of those set up to bypass when I click the first foot switch there. That's what it sounds like with both those on. And then right here, we have the effects loop. So right now I only have the wave delay in the effects loop, but you know, you could line up a whole plethora of pedals to run in your effects loop and turn them on and off with one switch. So I have this button here set up to turn the effects loop on and off. And that wave delay is pretty cool for such a small pedal. It sounds really good. Alright guys, what do you think of my first or, you know, really second attempt at building a pedal board? And what would you put on your dream pedal board? You know, assuming money's no option and you could put whatever pedals you wanted onto it. Let me know down in the comments below. All of the stuff that I used on this pedal board, including the pedal board itself, will be listed down in the description. So if you're looking for any pieces to build a pedal board, or maybe you're trying to build a pedal board from scratch, you can start there. Special thanks to all my awesome patrons for helping me bring you videos like this one. And if you're interested in joining my Patreon, there's a link for that in the description below as well. And as always, if you guys like this video, make sure to hit the like button, consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.